Coming up on First at 4, how a bill by Senator Mitch McConnell is showing real solutions for people in substance abuse recovery here in the mountains. And a new state law is providing for people who have lost a loved one due to a drunk driver.
And spotty storms continue this evening as we finally look to get a break from the storminess. Very latest coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Olivia Calfee. First at 4, a number of folks across Eastern Kentucky struggling with substance abuse disorder are now finding themselves with a better chance at recovery. That is thanks in part to a bill by Senator Mitch McConnell called the Careers Act. It stands for Comprehensive Addiction Recovery Through Effective Employment and Reentry. Brightview in the Big Sandy says it helps their clients work through addiction.
When it comes to employment, though, we have community partners that we partner with that help us find employers that are recovery friendly. And then we also work with employers that kind of help with people who are early in recovery get back into the workforce.
Brightview has locations all over the Commonwealth, but they are not the only program available for those recovering from substance use disorders. We'll have more for you on this at 5:30. This month, several new state laws go into effect. Senate Bill 268, or Melanie's Law, was signed back in June, but is now in motion. The bill allows restitution to children whose parents died or were left permanently disabled from a drunk driving crash. Mothers Against Drunk Driving's regional executive director says this gives children the opportunity to be financially supported, even with the absence of a parent.
It offers a level of financial support that they would have had their parent been living or been able to provide for them. And so in addition to that, it also adds a level of accountability for the offender.
Audie says she is thankful for this new bill, but she says she will continue advocating for families affected by this. Coming up at 6, find out why this bill is so important and how it will impact drunk driving. Perry County leaders say their road maintenance schedule is 2 years behind on blacktop paving. Judge Executive Scott Alexander says right now they are trying to speed up the process of starting on some of the roads on the county engineer's list.
We're working with the blacktop company. They're really hustling this year, getting a lot of blacktop down, and so we hope that we have a late winter and therefore they can blacktop on out through the fall.
Alexander says District 1 was hit the hardest with disaster, and they will focus on that stretch of road first.
Well, for most, a hot and humid Thursday afternoon. However, some of us dealing with those pop-up showers and storms. Here's the view from our studios here in Hazard along Black Gold Boulevard. Not that bad. We've seen plenty of sunshine. It's actually very warm. That 72 is misleading. That sensor's at the airport, which has been impacted by at least some clouds, if not some rain itself. Pikeville is a little more representative of where we are. Ahead of showers and storms, mid and upper 80s. You can see the last 3 hours of motion where those storms are going. And yeah, we've got a few moving on through. The northern half of the area is seeing the bulk of the activity. Right now, big time downpours, thunderstorms on top of downtown Irvin for the second time this afternoon. You saw some about 2-3 hours ago, and even more on top of you now. Watching more further down I-75, just west of London now, and we'll continue to see some of those pushing toward downtown Barberville over the next little bit. Putting a track on this section of storminess that is really starting to fall apart. We're talking places like Williamson, South Williamson, about 417, and Phelps by about 430. If this holds together, and it is really falling apart over the next little bit. We're not done with the showers and storms. You see, though, they'll cool you off pretty quick. Jackson's at 70, Hazard at 72. Everybody else, middle and upper 80s, flirting with 90s. So your forecast first through the next 12 hours. We'll continue to see those temperatures run down only into the 70s. And Olivia, I've got the latest on when we see a return to perhaps some more storminess in a few.
All right, thank you, Evan. A vigil for the victims of Monday's mass shooting in Philadelphia was held last night. The alleged gunman, who was accused of killing 5 people, is in custody and facing numerous charges. This comes as city officials are taking legal action against 2 ghost gun suppliers. As a warning, this story contains graphic video that some viewers may find disturbing. John Lawrence reports.
Philadelphia residents still in shock after city officials say Kim Brady Carricker went on a, quote, deliberate killing spree Monday.
Some maniac walking around just shooting. For what? We probably would never know why, but you took my son. You took my baby.
Officials say both of the guns found with the 40-year-old suspect were so-called ghost guns, which are weapons that are manufactured privately and untraceable.
You can take these guns through magnetometers without being detected. So this is like a level of insanity that no one should ever deal with.
The city of Philadelphia has filed a lawsuit against Polymer 80 Incorporated and JSD Supply Incorporated, which authorities say are major ghost gun suppliers.
These companies even want to go around the bare minimum regulations and be able to sell this stuff by mail to anyone without a background check and without a serial number on the gun.
Buyers of these weapons are often those who can't legally buy a firearm, such as minors or felons, according to the city's press release. There have been at least 359 mass shootings in the U.S. thus far this year, according to data from the Gun Violence Archive. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The Gun Violence Archive considers a mass shooting an incident where at least 4 people are shot, not including the shooter. In Los Angeles, police are investigating a possible hate crime at a Christian church where outdoor wooden crosses were burned. 3 outdoor wooden crosses were burned and 1 cross remains knocked down today. Arson investigators remain at the Silmer Christian Fellowship Church on Polk Street. The LAPD reported because of the nature of the fire and the fact that crosses were burned, they are treating it as a hate crime. 2 firefighters were killed in a cargo ship fire in Newark, New Jersey. The fire broke out around 9:30 Wednesday night on a 12-story ship docked in Port Newark that was loaded with about 5,000 cars. Officials say the fire started in 6 or 7 cars and then spread to other floors of the ship, where the firefighters became trapped. 2 maydays were called.
It's a sad day for all of us in Newark. Our hearts are broken by the tragedy that we've experienced last night.
The firefighters last night, they displayed what it is to truly be a firefighter, and they paid the ultimate sacrifice.
5 firefighters were also injured. Emergency workers in Ukraine are continuing their search at a Russian missile attack site. Lviv's mayor says at least 4 people have been killed and 13 hospitalized. 95 houses and 50 cars were damaged in a missile strike. There are reports that some bomb shelters had been closed. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ukraine calls that outrageous. Environmental activist Greta Thunberg is accused of disobeying law enforcement at a climate protest in Sweden. Police in the Swedish city of Malmö say it happened June 19th. The local prosecutor has filed charges against Thunberg. She participated in a climate demonstration which prosecutors say disrupted traffic in their city. Spain's capital celebrated today with the start of the famous bull running festival. There are no actual bull runs in Madrid, though. The 9-day celebration takes place every year in Pamplona, roughly 250 miles northeast of Madrid. Dozens of people, many of them hailing from the Navarre region, home of Pamplona, gathered in the capital to commemorate the start of this iconic Spanish tradition. Coming up on First at 4, it is hot across the country right now. Climate experts say this is just the beginning of what is to come.
And we're finally getting a break from stormy weather for part of the next couple of days, but I've got the latest on how long it'll last, and I'm tracking everything coming up after this.
In a little time at the castle.
Save a lot of money.
While they last, floating diamond pendant